Oh my goodness, Scorekeepers, we are back! Woohoo! It is time for another episode of your favorite podcast, The Score, where we take a look at arts and culture through our queer black lens. As always, I am Rocky Jones, and I am here with my two wonderful, wonderful co-hosts, Paige Reynolds. Hello, Paige. How are you?
Hello, hello. I am here. I'm just here
Okay.
today.
As a human on Earth in 2025, I feel like that is all that we can ask for.
Yes. Glad to be here with y'all. I'll put it that way.
Yes,
I'm
there
glad
you
to be
go.
with y'all
That's
in this
beautiful.
particular moment.
Yes, and
Mhm.
we are glad to be here with you. And of course, what would we do without our resident doctor, Dr. Lee Bynum? Hello, doctor. How are you?
Well, no one would be as healthy as they could be without me,
That is true. Mentally, physically, spiritually.
Yes.
Yeah.
and otherwise.
Ooh. This is a family show.
Here we are, though, just minutes from my birthday, and I am in rare form.
Yes, almost happy almost birthday to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
How exciting. And happy Aquarius
Yes.
season if I didn't say that last time.
You should say it once more because it is the happiest time of the year.
The weirdest time of the year, but
That
yes.
too.
Well, happy Black History Month, everyone.
For the last time ever, perhaps.
You know, one weird thing that I saw was that April Ryan, she tweeted that she was invited to a Black History Month celebration at the White House. And I was like,
Huh.
what?
In a
What?
time machine? Like what?
I don't know if she got in a DeLorean or if it was an old invitation. I was like, what on earth would that be like? My God.
Did the mail get delayed a whole year? The mail.
Perhaps.
Oh, that's
Well, we thought we would do something special in honor of Black History Month. And because right now we are living through some dark times, so shall we say, here in the United States of America. But we did this once a few years ago. And we thought we would bring this back. Um, all of you who are regular listeners know that at the end of the show, we like to end with no matter what we're talking about, if we are talking about some terrible fuck shit, some racism, some misogyny, some transphobia and homophobia, and all of those terrible things, we always like to end the show on a positive note, because, when we are thinking about the struggle, we also have to think about what comes after the struggle and what we are struggling for, which of course is joy and happiness and all of the incredible art and music and culture that Black people contribute to the world. And so, since times is rough. We thought we would devote the entire show today to some Black folks, some Black organizations that are doing really, really cool stuff in the face of all of the nonsense that is happening right now. And so, this is not to sort of discount any of or minimize any of the dangers that we are all in right now. If right now you are not in a moment to receive this joy, I completely understand and go ahead and pause the podcast and save it for later. But when you come back and you're ready for some joy, or if you're ready for some joy right now, uh, I think we should get to it because I need some joy in my life. What do y'all think?
Yeah.
absolutely the way we have just been bombarded
Mm,
with with all kinds of chaos, wahala, as my Nigerian siblings would say.
Mhm.
It is time to, I feel like, just flood folks with something else, with a bunch of Black joy. So I've been looking forward to this.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I can go first, and I think we all can agree on this. It's probably a bit of old news at this point. But last Sunday, I didn't even watch the Grammys last
Yeah,
Sunday.
I
I
don't watch the Grammys like
no,
as a general rule.
no. Especially after the last time I watched the Grammys when Renaissance lost Album of the Year and they just played in Beyonce's face. So how incredibly happy I was to wake up the next morning to learn that Cowboy Carter won Album of the Year and Best Country Album, and
Hmm.
Beyonce finally got her things. Finally,
As she should.
as she should.
As she should. I also did not watch the Grammys, but I heard that they seem to be just better all around
Yes,
this
yes.
year. Like from the winners actually making sense to having good performances. Um, so yeah, shout out to whoever is cleaning things up over there. I also think it's just so cute how we saw a genuine surprised
Mhm.
un genuine surprise emotion from Beyonce.
Yes,
Hmm.
yes. What a beautiful meme.
Right.
She gives us so many gifts.
Truly generous. So
And of course,
Yeah.
her manager, Blue Ivy, making sure that the trains are running on time.
uh, yeah, Blue Ivy was sitting there like, straighten up, B. I told you this might happen. I told you. Remember what we talked about.
But also,
Also shout out.
oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say shout out to Dochi.
Yes.
Yes.
Uh I I'm I'm so proud of her. Like I don't know, remember the last time I was this proud of someone I haven't met. Like off of a mixtape where she just apparently bared her soul, made it super personal throughout the rules people were trying to give her, and ended up at the Grammys. I'm so proud. She's
She's
amazing.
very
Yes.
talented
So talented. Oh my God.
and beautiful on top of that.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's like looking in a mirror. I love her.
And
Also,
all,
and her dark skin representation as
yes.
Yep.
well, all on stage.
Yep.
And her speech was really, really beautiful with her mom next to her. And then talking about only two women have won that award. And then she corrected herself. Wait, no, three women have won this award. It was just, yeah, I feel the same way. I feel just very proud of her and just proud of the whole thing. And yes, dark skin representation, please,
Uh-huh.
everywhere. And I, I mean, we are recording this the morning after the Super Bowl, and I'm just saying the light skinned folks kind of took an L last night, but but another big winner at the Grammys was Kendrick Lamar, who performed
Yes.
in the Super Bowl halftime show last night. And did you all watch?
I watched the halftime show.
Yes,
Yeah.
the Kendrick Lamar concert, not the
Yeah, I
football.
didn't watch that nonsense happening around it. Shout to Philly, all my friends in Philly. I know y'all are excited. I heard y'all pull down a stoplight.
I'm surprised that's all that happened
Me
Right.
that
too,
I
knowing
saw.
Philly. Mhm.
But what did y'all think of Kendrick?
I loved his jeans.
Mm,
I felt like that cut would look amazing on me because it's looked amazing on me in the past. I also liked his music.
yes, to both of those things. And just FYI, I learned on the internet that those jeans were made by Celine.
Wait, one more time?
The designer, Celine.
Sorry, I heard Celine and my brain went in, I was like, wait a minute, what?
Not
Um,
Celine Dion.
oh, well, that's nice too then. Oh, great.
But yes, I enjoyed the performance as well.
Me, three. I really enjoyed it, and including the jeans. I agree about the jeans, Lee. I totally agree. Um, I feel like that cut the last time it was in style, that was a high point for me.
Yep.
So let's bring it back. Let's bring it back. Uh, um, and I just appreciate how just consistently, thoroughly Black
Mhm.
Kendrick's performances always are. And there's also something about seeing him at this point in his career, um, just talking a lot of shit. Like well
Yep.
deserved
Well
talking a lot of
deserved.
Well
shit.
Yep.
deserved.
Yep.
Yeah, like the true, like, yeah, I'm the best. I'm the king of this shit right now. And I don't hear many people disagreeing. Like, so I don't know. There's something about that that also inspires me to even, talk my own shit or be like, yeah, I love that. So I deserve that too. That's how I feel when I listen to this song, Man at the Garden. I'm like,
Yes.
I do deserve it all. You're right. I did mind my business. I did work hard, and my mama deserves it all too. Yeah.
Well, there were a number of detractors, a number of people you decided to use their Twitter fingers to say it was the most boring Super Bowl show ever, whatever. And girl, you know who it was
Yeah, of
that
course.
was saying these things. But, I just thought, I mean, I guess it's hard to be subversive when you are performing at the halftime show at the Super Bowl. And I suppose, at the beginning he said the revolution will be televised, but the person that pulled out the Free Palestine flag was tackled and dragged off stage. So that wasn't great. But I did think that, it was just this really thoroughly black and beautiful performance. That really stirred something within me, and I think it did go over a lot of folks' heads. It was also incredibly petty. Like a level of petty that I actually kind of aspire to as a Sagittarius. And so I found it aspirational in that way. So shout out to Kendrick.
I was talking to Samuel Phillips, friend of the show,
Ah,
a little
yes.
bit earlier today, and asking him if he could remind me of how the beef got started because I couldn't, like, I literally couldn't remember what the issue between the two of them had been. And Samuel didn't immediately recall either. Do y'all remember? Like what was the beef? Because I feel like it just went back years and years to the point that I have no recollection on what actually started any of it.
I don't remember it either, but it does go back years. That
Yeah,
is
I'm sure
sure.
people are screaming at us.
Yeah.
Oh, answers.
Hmm.
I mean, I think it's just that people just don't like Drake, right?
Well, you can add my name to that list,
I mean,
but
I'm
I
just
mean,
saying.
I'm not making a song about it. Like I feel like something clearly precipitated the amount of career-ending music that we got about this one particular Canadian.
I mean,
Or maybe this is just Americans don't like Canadians anymore, because it definitely feels like that's in the air.
well, Canadians certainly don't like us,
Well, we've
so
earned it.
Hey.
well. But yeah, But I was just sitting there and I was just like, what is Drake thinking right now? Can you imagine? And then to have your ex crip walking
That
in the
was the
middle of the
part
song.
that took me out, mainly because all of my exes are 6 feet under. So none of them are going to be dancing anywhere. But that was the moment where I felt like that moved to something else, like a very, very different kind of a display of I've won and you're irrelevant.
Oh, I'm I'm kind of like, how many times is he going to openly diss this man? How long is it going to go on? Um, what is Drake even doing these days?
That's what I want to know.
What do you do when a whole stadium screams out a lyric about you and says A minor, a packed stadium?
A packed stadium in front of 100 million people watching on their television.
Right.
Yeah,
Probably including Drake's children, right?
yeah, yeah. Only the biggest athletic event in this country, one of the biggest ones in the world, probably. Just what do you? I don't. I don't understand how you come back from that. I would just go into hiding.
Oh, yeah.
Oh
Oh
my God.
yeah.
I
You
mean,
would
maybe that's what
never
he's
see me
done.
again.
I did see a photo of him, maybe it was like last week, or it was like a video of him like walking into something. And he seems to have lost a lot of weight.
Interesting.
And I don't know what that is about, but he looked very skinny.
Oh, poor thing.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So I would imagine some stress. But then also, like, if I had as much money as Drake, I would just go buy an island
Mhm.
and just live out my days and not worry about any of this. But, what do I know? But a little teeny tiny piece of related pure black joy to the Super Bowl last night that I learned that I didn't know. And I just want to shout out really, really quick. There's a woman named Autumn Lockwood, and she is the first black woman to ever coach in a Super Bowl. She is the assistant performance coach for the Philadelphia Eagles, led by my boo, Jalen Hurts. Congratulations. And congratulations to Autumn and the rest of the team on their big win. That's super exciting. I did not know that.
It
Amazing.
is. And now I want to say something so that all of the folks who turned down the volume because they didn't want to hear about that sports ball game can turn their volume back up. And we're going to talk about something we all care about, my birthday.
Ah, yes, of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, in addition to me turning 45 this very week, another icon also turns 45, Black Barbie. That's right, Black Barbie, not the white one. White Barbie was born apparently in 1959, but Black Barbie joined us in 1980. And to celebrate her 45th anniversary, they are issuing a limited edition collectible of the creator, whose name is, I want to make sure I get this back, Kitty Black Perkins, who was the creator of the Black Barbie. I don't know if Miss Perkins is also black, but very excited about that. The doll that they're releasing is absolutely stunning. She looks amazing
Hmm.
in red, just like I do. And I encourage everybody to go out and buy her so that they know that we still exist.
Interesting. So Black Barbie is a triple Aquarius too.
Yeah, y'all better watch out.
Oh, well, that's fun. Well, did you have Barbies growing up?
Of
Either of
course.
you?
I did, absolutely.
Yeah, still do.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm like, wow, things have really evolved in a short amount of time. You said, what was the year you gave again, Lee? For Black
Of
Movie?
1980.
Wow.
Wild.
right?
Yeah.
Right? Because I know on very good authority that there were Black people in existence before 1980. So I guess we should be glad that we got heard when we did. But I was legitimately surprised that the first Black Barbie only dated to 1980 and was really hoping it was some kind of typo. But no, no, that's what it was.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I mean, I
apparently
guess.
didn't even have anybody Black working for the doll
Mm-mm.
company until 76.
Yeah, I'm assuming not in a decision-making position at least.
Or perhaps in any other,
Yeah.
and
Hmm. But I
Jesus.
guess I'm not super surprised. I mean,
No.
Barbie's an all-American, whatever, and they weren't even thinking about us like that.
Mm-mm. Not in any good way.
Mm-mm.
No. They're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs. I am still mad about last year.
Oh no. Get out of the DeLorean.
I'm trying to. Thanks for nothing, April Ryan. Who's got some more good news about Black people?
Well, there's a little other Barbie related news actually that I completely forgot about, but they recently released an Aaliyah Barbie doll.
What?
Really?
Yes.
Let me look
I
this up.
I really want one. I really, really want one. Aaliyah was just so central to my childhood, and may she rest in peace
Yes.
Hmm.
always. She's a Detroit girl as well.
Hmm.
Um, and I feel strongly about her her style legacy, definitely her style, fashion legacy, music legacy that was cut way too short.
Way too short.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, and one day I'll go on a whole rant about her legacy from a Black feminist perspective.
I would
Uh,
love to hear that.
yeah, yeah,
Ooh.
yeah. There are some ways that it gets kind of misrepresented, not misrepresented, mishandled,
Yeah.
particularly by prominent Black male celebrities that really just really chaps my ass. I can't do it. Oh, but one day you'll hear that full rant.
Okay.
We're focused
I
on
look
joy.
forward
We're
to
focused
hearing
on
that. Aaliyah always was so interesting to me because I feel like so much more was projected onto her, even when she was
joy.
alive, because she
Hmm.
wasn't one of the ones who like constantly gave interviews that told like every detail of their life.
Mm-hmm.
So, in death, a lot of people, you know, I feel like kind of wanted a part of it, right?
Yes.
And it's
Big
unfortunate
part of my
because
rant.
I'm sorry, I don't mean we all have this whole conversation. I've been thinking a lot about her because obviously her birthday just passed a
Mm-hmm.
couple of weeks ago, and she was one of my first favorite favorite anythings. She had her first album come out when I was in middle school and just getting old enough to like buy my own music. And I always had like a very, very special place in my heart for her because she was legitimately more interesting than most of the other little singers out at that time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Her style, her attitude,
Hmm.
her grace,
Hmm.
just the music.
The music.
I mean, Timbaland producing and
Hmm.
Missy, and
Hmm.
well, not talk about the R. Kelly stuff, but
Yeah, we can skip over that.
yes.
To be
But
honest, the takedown of Drake, part of why I'm quite happy with it is because of he's one of them people who is
mm-hmm.
really weak fucking weird about Aaliyah. Let me just say it's really
Hmm.
fucking weird. So, actually Kendrick can keep dragging him for as long as he for the rest of this lifetime and the next. Go ahead.
Well, to me, this whole thing she sounds like more than a Barbie, more than a Barbie. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Well, while we're on the topic of Black people singing, I have another piece of very pure Black joy. So some of you may remember many, many years ago when we were all together at Minnesota Opera, we all got very enthusiastic around reclaiming a sort of lost Black opera, The Anonymous Lover, and had a very good time working on the excavation of that and presenting that lovely show at Minnesota Opera. And recently, another long thought lost opera by a Black composer was presented. The composer was Edmond Dede from the beautiful city of New Orleans. And the opera was a piece that he wrote in 1887 called
Wow.
Morjan, which I have to assume, not having seen it, is maybe about Morgan Le Fay, because it's the same, it's a very similar spelling. But that's neither here nor there. The piece was presented by Opera Creole, and it starred Chancey Packer and had a very, very good reception from the audience, and super excited that another thought lost piece by a Black composer has been reclaimed and can now be produced by companies around the world, and the descendants of Mr. Dede can get their coin.
I'm so excited about that.
Mm.
Me too. I really, really would like to see that. And hopefully, it premiered in New Orleans, which I think was appropriate, but hopefully,
Oh,
like all things, it'll come to New York City and I will go and see it and come back to this show and tell everybody how I loved it.
So
absolutely.
yeah, absolutely. I hope you get to see it, but I don't really know anything about Mr. Dede. Do you know anything about him?
Only a little bit. He has a couple of pieces that I'm sort of familiar with, but he's one of those people who sort of sat in this place in my head, as most of their work was just kind of lost, like so many other, Black composers, Florence Price, and of course, the Chevalier.
Mhm.
But this score was actually completely reconstructed. I believe it was at the National Library in Paris, and they were able to sort of go back and put together how they think it sounded, and put the libretto by Louis Brunet back together and did this presentation. And it's really exciting. It's really exciting as a person who's also worked on a bunch of shows over the years. Some of them have gotten multiple performances and some of them haven't. So I've had to think about my own work as something that may never again be produced for people to see. And that's not necessarily a great loss in the same way that like the Chevalier, but it's a personal thing, right? Because you write stuff because you want people to enjoy it. You want people to take something from it. So it's just really nice to see that just because a piece has been written and doesn't get the life that the composer hopes that it will get, it may get another life 150 years after you've died.
Uh, I would love to hear from somebody that did see it in New Orleans. If
Mhm.
you got a chance to see that and you're listening, write in, tell us how it was.
Yeah, absolutely. And I happen to know that at least a couple of the folks in the cast of this um, are followers on Instagram. So if you
Oh,
happen to be listening to the show,
Oh,
you are more than invited to come on and tell us all about it.
oh my God, please do. The
I will.
Score Podcast 2.0 at gmail.com.
Mhm.
I will definitely be checking to see if another performance is happening in New Orleans. If it crosses over with any of my visits,
Yes,
I
please do.
love to see it. I will let y'all know. Mhm.
Well, you know you're just gonna jump in the car and go down there. Overlaps with a visit.
You right. I will travel. I will hop in my little Volkswagen and like it's nothing.
Well, that is cool. I love it when a seemingly lost piece of music, especially by a Black artist, gets a new life. It's so exciting.
Mhm.
Like when I
Well,
got to see Treemonisha in Toronto a couple of years ago, and it was just this long culmination of all of these artists putting together, the score and the libretto and it all coming together into this really, really beautiful piece that finally got its premiere. And like you could just feel the electricity in the room, and people were so excited to be there. And I was so excited to be invited. It was just so cool. It was just so cool. So shout out to all those folks. That's just awesome. And
Yeah.
I hope it has a long, long life.
Me too.
But Paige, go for it.
Yes. So my next pure black joy. Um, wow, this was such good news. This was such good news. And just in the midst of darkness and chaos, Minneapolis, the city of Minneapolis, really did something right in appointing a new poet laureate of the city for 2025 and 2026. And it is none other than a dear friend, a friend of this show, Janata Petrus.
Bow, 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 bow,
Yay!
bow. Yay, Janata.
Yeah. Yeah. I am just so proud, so proud. My city poet laureate is a Black, queer, Caribbean abolitionist witch. And I couldn't be happier. I couldn't be happier. There is a celebration for her next week. No, this week. This week. The show should be out right before it happens on Thursday, at the Loft Literary Center, and it'll be one big old party. I will definitely be there. Wouldn't miss it. And just congratulations to Janata. She deserves. She pours so much love into this city, and especially the Black folks in it, especially the Black queer folks in it. Um, so yeah, I'm overjoyed at this.
So excited for her. And for those of you who are not familiar with Janata, she is an activist, a writer, a playwright, a multi-dimensional artist who
Mhm.
has written um, a number of really amazing, powerful books, The Stars and the Blackness Between Them. Can we please give the police department to the grandmothers, among many, many other things that you should all check out. And friend of the show, she was the very first guest on Art Class, which is the show that we did for Lincoln Center, but it's also in this feed, the score feed. So if you go back to Gosh, when was that? Last
Would have been
winter, last
about this time
January.
last year. Yep.
Yeah, it was around
Oh,
this time last
sure.
year. You can listen to her episode. And she's just so smart and so funny and so lovely and so kind. And you can tell she just has the biggest heart, and it comes
Yeah.
through in our discussion with her. And so I think that this is a fine, fine choice. And think that Minneapolis is in such fine literary hands for the next year, and I cannot wait to see what she produces.
Same.
Yay.
Yay! Well, I have a little bit of black joy as
Oh,
well.
do you?
I do. It's how do I phrase this? Uh, it's been less than fun to be a professional with equity, diversity, and inclusion in their job title for the last month or so. Well, it's been not super fun for the last couple of years, but especially the last couple of weeks, it's been very, very distressing to say the least to see all of these companies sort of bowing down and kissing the ring and preemptively shuttering all of their equity, diversity, and inclusion operations. Target, Walmart, the huge ones, but so many, many more, as we all know. And so, as we all know, there is no such thing as ethical consumption um, in these times. But I was on TikTok, and there was a creator named Zora Renee who is giving us the tea on a number of Black-owned businesses that can possibly take the place of places like Target and Amazon and Walmart in order to, if we must consume and we must buy things, and of course we all, have needs and things that we have to take care of, but perhaps we can, pour a little bit of money back into the Black community when we are doing these things and not supporting businesses that don't support us. So she put me onto, companies like Black Nile, which is a directory to help you find Black-owned businesses like grocery stores and hotels, cleaning services, et cetera, et cetera. Miura, which is a marketplace like Amazon. And Lee, I know you ran into this video as well, right?
Mhm. I did. I was so excited about it and sent it to a bunch of people and had been planning to talk about it on this show. So I'm glad that you covered it because I actually think this is super important.
Yes.
And also in the process of boycotting certain stores that may need to be boycotted and to be bringing attention to sort of how Black creators of different sorts are being caught up in this mess. I like when people are able to help us understand how we can still support the folks that we want to support. Because I
Mhm.
don't want my money going to certain people right now, but I absolutely want my money going to other people. So I was really, really glad about this video. And I hope we can maybe link it in the show notes.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Fantastic.
Absolutely. We will figure that out. And to some of the businesses that she mentioned.
Oh, good
Because
idea.
I know I in these trying times, the call to get that little dopamine hit by, purchasing something is real.
Yeah.
But I know I need to do that responsibly, and we all need to do that responsibly.
Ashe, I'm on the same tip. I'm just like, let me have my little treats, but as ethically as possible.
Exactly. I need a little
Did you
sweet
see anything
treat.
in particular that you really liked or that you already ordered?
No, I've not ordered anything yet, but
Yeah.
I will do so and get back to you the next time we are chit-chatting.
Cute. Maybe we could
Yes.
do a little Black Business Hall episode, like our favorite
I
Black
love
Ooh,
this.
businesses,
I love
a
that.
little show and tell of things we love that we got from Black places. Yeah.
I did also find a video, and I'll link this too, for those of you who are in the Twin Cities area. There was also a really great video that I saw that highlighted a bunch of Black-owned businesses here locally,
Hmm.
coffee shops and bookstores like Black Garnet Books and such. So I'll also link that as well because we need to go out there and we need to support more than ever.
More than ever. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I'll give you the link for Black Garnet Books where folks um all over can order like from Bookshop, and Black Garnet Books still gets most of the profit, I think. Smaller bookstores like them don't always have the capacity to carry like a large selection.
Hmm.
Um or to, keep a large stock. So I love them. I shop there all the time. And then I go to their bookshop storefront to get shipping anywhere or to get any books that I can't find in the physical store. But then they still get all the profit. So I am adamant about supporting Black bookstores. I will always find the one in a city that I go to. So just want to shout them out. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, and this is something that I get on my soapbox about because my first job out of college, I managed an independent bookstore in DC. It was not a black-owned one, but it was still, one of the last bulwarks against the rising tide of Amazon and Barnes and Noble and Borders and all those places. And it was just such an important part of the community because we were able to really respond to the needs of the people who were in our neighborhood and provide them with a really vital service. So if that's something that sounds really important and necessary, go support your independent local bookstores, please, and especially the black ones.
Especially the black ones.
Absolutely.
And while we're on the subject of supporting Black things, I also just want to quickly shout out another piece of Black joy for me,
Mm,
the 2025 Black History Film Festival, presented by the Fulton County Commissioner, kicks off on February 21st with an opening reception. The Black History Film Festival runs from February 21st to February 22nd, and it includes the following films: Echoes Unheard, Speak Loud, How Albany Became Georgia's Blackest Major City, How to Sue the Klan, Ding, Ding, Ding,
mm,
and A Time to Yell. And I actually just think this year, where we are literally dealing with an administration that is trying to erase not only Black history from having happened, but your access to hearing about it, it's really important to support things like the Black History Film Festival or anything associated with Black history or culture, period, while we still can. And I'm not saying that facetiously, I'm saying that because I don't know that we know what's going to happen.
mm. Yeah,
Mm.
it's very scary.
Scary and stupid. So let's go out and do things that are not scary and not stupid and put some money in some Black people's pockets.
Yes.
Agreed.
Agreed. And now you said Fulton County, that's Atlanta, correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Sorry, it's
Just
Atlanta.
wanted to make
Yes.
sure.
And
Okay.
in case people are listening in Atlanta, it's at the Emma Darnell Cultural Arts Center, 3900 Aviation Circle Northwest, Atlanta, Georgia, 30336. I want y'all to go. Starts at
Uh,
6 o'clock.
and I want to know how
CPT.
you sue the Klan.
You
Mhm.
too, because I actually feel like that's something that might be necessary to know
I
in these next
mean,
couple of years.
I'm
Because
just saying, run me my
Yeah.
coins.
y'all don't know who's got your personal data.
Oh,
Okay,
Lord
listen,
Jesus.
listen, some 22-year-old tech bro, apparently.
Right.
Mm, 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 mm.
And then y'all wonder why Wesley Snipes didn't pay his taxes, because he knew.
Now, don't get us
Was
in
not
trouble
going to use
now.
my money for some nonsense.
Oh, Lord, that one picture of the one 19-year-old,
Oh,
like his
yeah.
professional headshot in shorts and an untucked shirt and a tie and a I could, y'all, how is this acceptable?
It isn't. It's just not.
I just,
I mean, it's just not. Like I, because I spent grad school like reading through declassified FBI files for
hmm
like a decade, the things that are going to come out of just the last, what, 3 weeks are spinning my mind because I have some sense of the kinds of things that can be in a declassified FBI file.
Yeah.
The things that they're going to find out about January 2025 alone will will be one hell of a dissertation for somebody because there has been so much tomfoolery happening in the last couple of weeks, just record amounts of tomfoolery. Yeah.
I mean, tomfoolery doesn't even begin to cover it.
But y'all acted like y'all were too good to listen to Marcus Garvey when he said we could just leave. We could just leave.
True. It's true.
Well, I know a certain African that could just leave and go back, but but that's all I'll
Well
say about
Yeah.
played,
that
well
because I'm not
played.
trying to get audited.
I
And
mean,
let
you
me
say
take
that
that
like you're not going to
moment.
be on an island in the Caribbean in a couple of weeks.
With Drake.
Right.
Oh. Speaking of white South Africans, let me take this moment to this moment to thank my father, who when I was young, we were watching sports. I think we were watching golf, and there was a white South African athlete. I remember my dad just saying, I don't like him. No, he's not one of my favorites. I don't like him. And I was like, why? Like he seems so sure about it. I was like, why? Did he do something? And he was like, he's a white South African. I can't trust him. Don't, don't, don't trust white South Africans. Why? That has stuck with me. That has stuck with me. And I feel like the rest of this country didn't have somebody to tell them that when they were younger. And they also didn't have the privilege of the movie The Color of Friendship
Ooh,
being
that's a good
on
one.
air. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. That's a good one. So, I think we're seeing the consequences now. Shout out to my father. his wisdom, his wisdom and foresight.
All right, shout out Mr. Reynolds.
And shout out to Piper and them from The Color of Friendship.
Yeah, yeah. What a movie. Show kids on Disney Channel now.
You know that they're watching some trash or some nonsense. Maybe
Yeah.
some nonsense that's trash, trashy nonsense, nonsensical trash. I mean, this is my guess.
Mine too.
So High School Musical.
We should be so lucky. Where is Corbin Blue when you need him?
Dancing with the Stars, I guess. Wasn't he just in Little Shop of Horrors on
He
off
sure
Broadway?
was. He
Good for
sure
Really?
him.
was.
Good
Yes, he
for him.
was.
All
With
right.
with Jinx
Alongside,
Monsoon?
was it Jinx Monsoon? Was that who he was with? Or was
I
it
don't know.
Constance
I don't
Wu?
remember.
I can't remember either, but I will say this. Corbin Bleu is Jamaican.
Hmm.
That is your fact of the day. Do with it what you will.
Well, I will file that away
Mhm.
for my next trivia night when I need it. So, does anyone else have any joy they'd like to share?
I did have another film related
Oh, yes.
nugget of Black joy. Shout out to Black film festivals. I feel like it was like several of my Black joy moments, like within the past year and couple years. Just really nourishing spaces. Support Black film festivals, including a new one here in the Twin Cities. It just had its inaugural Black Europe Film Festival.
Hmm,
Ooh,
Yes, the
okay.
I
very
love Black
first.
Tell me
Europeans.
more.
Yeah, so it featured all Black European filmmakers. I just found out about it just scrolling through Instagram. I probably saw some picture with beautiful Black people in it and something about Minneapolis, and I said, huh, I should know about it. So because I found out kind of short notice, I only got to make it to one of the screenings. But yeah, the Black Europe Film Festival is in its first year. A lot of the events just took place across town in different locations. I went to St. Anthony Main Theater where they had a lot of screenings. I also appreciated that I saw several free screenings that were part of the festival. Not everything, had to be paid for. Um, yeah, and it went from January 30th to February 2nd, 2025. So just showing all Afro-descended filmmakers from Europe, but also from cultures across the Black diaspora. I went to a screening that was specifically Black queer filmmakers. Um, it was incredible. It
That's the
was
one I want to see.
incredible.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was beautiful. I watched a film from a German filmmaker, and I'm sorry I don't have all of the names. There is one film I want to shout out in particular, and I'll put a link to um, the info page in our show notes so people can check out all the films. I especially want to shout out um, one of the short films, about 25 minutes or so, called The Archive: Queer Nigerians.
Hmm.
Mm.
Um, it was a film by Shimisola Oluwa Akande, about queer Nigerians living in the UK. Um, it was framed around their audio diaries that were sent to the filmmaker, um, about Blackness, about queerness, Africanness specifically. And I'm not gonna lie, y'all, it made me weep through like 80% of it. I I I cried. Oh, I cried. It was so moving. Um, the way they talked about the grief of being erased from Nigerian culture, the grief of religious colonialism, um, and separation from indigenous cultures and cosmologies that were much more expansive and affirming of queer folks. Um, Talked about the grief of missing family, um, coming out to family or not coming out to family, seeking asylum in the UK.
Hmm.
And something that I didn't know is that once you do that, you can't go back to Nigeria for at least 5 years.
Yeah.
Um, so it was, and I know I'm talking about a lot of sad things, but it was also triumphant. People talking about moving through this grief, but also getting a lot closer to themselves. There's this beautiful way that even just like the faces and bodies and lives of all the queer folks featured become more visible throughout the film. You see more of their faces, you see more of their surroundings as they're getting to be more of themselves and talking about how they wouldn't trade that for the world. So yeah, okay. As you see, I can't stop talking about it. It was so
Wow.
gorgeous. It was so gorgeous. I will definitely link in the show notes and just support Black queer artists. Just continuously show up to things
Yeah.
like this that are happening
Mm.
around you. It means a lot to the artists, but it does something for us and for our souls too.
Yeah.
I was very grateful. Yeah.
Well, can I also encourage people to go to the movies? Um,
Mm-hmm.
there is a Black director, Julius Ona. He is the son of what was at the time the ambassador from Nigeria to the US. He moved to the US permanently in 1994, where he fell in love with the American cinema. And 30 short years later, he is directing the new Captain America that
Oh.
stars Anthony
Oh.
Mackie and Giancarlo Esposito, Carl Lumley, and somebody named Harrison Ford, who I don't really know who he is.
Hmm.
And I am very excited about this movie because A, they put a Black Captain America in it, or as I like to call him, Captain African American, and B, that they put a Black director directing this movie in this year where I feel like so much about Black people is being manipulated, erased, and thoroughly confused. I am grateful for every time I see a Black person on television doing something positive. So I'm really excited about this movie. I have loved Anthony Mackie for at least 20 years since I first saw him on stage in a show called Drowned Crow. And I think he's a fantastic actor. So I'm super excited about this. And y'all should go see it. Otherwise, they'll stop putting Black people in movies.
Well, there you go.
Absolutely.
Well, speaking of Black queer artists that could use your support, I can think of three off the top of my head. So I just want to thank everyone for their support just by being here and listening to us cut up week after week. You support us so greatly, but we could always use a little bit more. So that means, rating us, giving us 5 stars, nothing less than that, please. But like it actually helps get the show in front of people. And now that we are not institutionally supported, we're doing this all on our own. We can really use the help. So please give us some stars, 5 of them. If you feel so inclined, write us a little review. You can follow us on Instagram and Blue Sky at the Score Pod. And one of these days we'll get to populating those pages with things. We're getting to it. But also, you can just tell your friends that you think would be interested in something like our show. And we can just continue building this community of like-minded, fun-loving, arts-loving people. So do that. But I think that's probably going to do it for today. Just one little self-serving plug, if you two don't mind.
Go for it.
All right. Last week I was invited to be on a dear, dear friend of mine, Tom Lazoric, and he is my trainer and my friend, and he has a podcast all about fitness called the Success Culture Podcast. And so he invited me on to talk about life and fitness. So check out my
Aw.
episode of the Success Culture Podcast, wherever you listen to fine podcasts. We had a really fun time.
I'll listen to it, even though you're cheating on us with another show.
Okay, it was one time. It
Mhm.
was one time. It didn't mean
That's all it
anything.
takes.
He's not right, but it's okay.
So before we go, any words of wisdom, y'all?
Resist.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Resist. That's
Mhm.
all you need. Do not preemptively obey. Resist.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, we will be back in 2 weeks with another foray into season 2 of Noah's Ark, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited. It's been so hard not to watch the episodes
Mhm.
and see what happens, but I've been a
Ugh,
good boy.
same, same. I just want to keep going, but there's something fun about watching them slowly with
Yes.
y'all.
Yes, and with y'all, and with all of you out there. So we will be back with episodes 4 through 6, season 2. If you want to go watch along with us, all the links are in the show notes for the previous Noah's Ark episode. And I think that's gonna do it. So bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Support Black queer businesses and people.